fucking trash.
They're all gonna laugh at
The evil is free.
you! In her soul, she's as common as dirt!
Hello.
Cinéma de merde.
Hey, this is Scott from Merde. You know, it's summer, it's hot, and I need to get cool. Cool as ice. This is from 1991, is directed by David Kellogg, stars Vanilla Ice, Kristen Minter, Michael Gross, Candy Clark, and Academy Award winner Deezer D. Now, it's obvious that Cinema de Merde cannot be considered a viable source of informed film criticism without including the cinematic contribution made by Vanilla Ice. This glaring flaw will be rectified right here, right now, as we consider his genius in this, which the box describes as his first motion picture. We begin with what's essentially a music video in which we discover that Ice can breakdance and are also treated to an extended strobe light sequence that could very likely induce epileptic fits in the audience. If there was anyone in the audience. Anyway, Ice leads this motorcycle riding hip-hop posse that hangs, throws down beats, and sows lyrical terror. While riding one day, Ice spots this uptight babe riding her horse. And he's such an ignorant dork that he thinks it'd be a great idea to jump his bike right next to the horse, using his magical levitating motorcycle as its flat land all around. Which causes the horse to rear up and throw the girl to the ground. I thought it would have been a good story idea if she'd been paralyzed from the neck down after this and Ice was forced to woo her from the side of a hospital bed, but obviously they thought this story idea was not dynamic enough. Anyway, Ice and his posse ride through town until one of his sidekick's bikes breaks down. So Ice and his crew find this mom-and-pop barn / motorcycle repair shop that quite inexplicably features the latest in garish early 90s design. So Ice sees the girl who was riding her horse earlier, who just happens to live right across the street from the motorcycle repair shop, with her clean-cut and rich but boring boyfriend. Ice goes over and advises her to
drop that zero and get with the hero.
This girl is Kathy, whom Ice refers to as Cat, and she just received some prestigious scholarship or something and got on TV. This broadcast is picked up by these two mobsters who recognize her dad, call his house, and hang up.
Sure, but
This one call is treated with the ominousness of a severed horse head found in one's bed, and the dad, who's played by the dad from Family Ties, looks like he's about to piss his pants. Wow. You know, I guess the everyday wrong number must really keep this guy on edge. Meanwhile, Ice and Posse have been hanging out at the mom-and-pop motorcycle shop, eating green eggs that they salt with the gargantuan salt and pepper shakers on the table, until Ice gets up and says he's got to
cross the street to sling a schlong.
Excuse me? He finds Kathy at the local dance where he breaks into the entertainment and warns them.
I'm gonna drop some funky lyrics.
He then pulls Kathy down to the floor and humps her in front of everyone.
Hit of rhymes coming straight from the mind of a genius, and you can't be mine.
Well, that's a fine how do you do. Then on the way home, while Kathy is walking in the middle of the street, she's almost run down by a car. Ice saves her and asks her who those guys were, and she responds,
Some jerks.
yeah, you know, guys who engage in vehicular homicide are just such jerks. The next morning, in the most bizarre sexual thing in the movie, Ice wakes Kathy, having broken into her house and snuck into her bedroom, by dripping some unspecified fluid from his fingers into her mouth. Ladies, don't you just love a guy that breaks into your house while you're sleeping and wakes you by dripping some mystery fluid into your mouth? We never do find out what exactly the mystery fluid was and what is on hand in a bedroom. I don't care to take this discussion any further. So anyway, Kathy's dad has seen Ice talking to the mobsters and has forbidden her to see him. But she sneaks out, takes a long ride on his motorcycle, and they go hang out in this house and relate.
You know, having parents and all that stuff.
They do this for a long time before they start to frolic. The Then they go back to Kathy's house where her dad tells her that Ice is mixed up in some shady dealings and he can never see her again.
Get out of here. Get out and leave my daughter alone.
This causes him to go pose thoughtfully on his bike in the vast desert, which the editing makes it seem is directly across the street from the verdant fields. So Dad decides to tell Kathy what's going on, which takes place during a long and dramatic father-daughter talk. Here's the dish, and I am so not making this up. It seems the father used to be a cop and ratted on his corrupt partner, and then the whole family went into the witness relocation program and have never told Kathy about their true identities. But Dad saw Ice with the mobsters when he stopped to ask them for directions and assumed he was with them. Kathy says that she trusts Ice, but her dad says that she doesn't know him, causing Kathy to retort,
"Haven't you lied to me my whole life?"
"Ooh, snap." So now things go from ludicrous to uber ludicrous. Ice gives Kathy's little brother a motorcycle ride, and he is seen doing this by the boyfriend. Then the little kid is kidnapped and quite terrorized for such a little kid in a PG movie. So when Ice stops by that night, he picks up the envelope on the porch and hands it to Dad saying, "This is for you." This of course contains the ransom tape, and then the boyfriend shows up and says that Ice was last seen in the presence of the kidnapped kid. Okay, so Ice hand-delivered the ransom note, tape, and was last seen with the kid, but still Kathy says,
"I trust him, Dad."
Chicklet, what are you, nuts? I mean, how much more evidence do you need? So Kathy grabs the ransom tape and runs over to where Ice is hanging out and preening. They play the ransom tape, and can you guess what happens? Come on, what always happens when there's a ransom tape? Ice's keen hearing discerns this rhythmic pounding noise in the background, like at a construction site.
That sound.
But you at home are like, no, that's too obvious. They wouldn't do that, would they? Then Kathy hears it and she says,
"The construction site."
Yes.
yes, the construction site, because apparently there's only one, and you at home look around for something to smack yourself in the head with. Then you realize that wasn't hard enough, and you look for something heavier and smack yourself again. So they go to the construction site where the kid is being held on the second floor. Ice and Posse burst through the walls on their motorcycles, once again using their magical levitating motorcycles. And then Ice and the bad guys have a fight wherein Ice unleashes his martial arts. Oh yeah, did I mention that Ice is also a martial artist? Yup. So then Dad comes around and thanks and apologizes to Ice, who at this point is wearing a hat that looks like a nuclear reactor balanced precariously on his head.
I hope not.
And the rich dork boyfriend shows up and tells Kathy,
Well, I hope you like being a biker chick, because you're not going to see me or my car again.
Then after one last music video sequence, it's all over. Oh, and no Ice Ice Baby, by the way. The main problem slash source of amusement with this movie is just how ridiculous the very existence of Vanilla Ice is. First, this whole pretty boy white rapper thing is completely idiotic now, especially with hip-hop having become what it is. Second is just how ridiculous his whole appearance is, with this huge shellacked hair sculpture on his head and loud outfits. And finally, all the film's myth-making and iconic photography of this guy who is Vanilla Ice. This is compounded 100 times by the distance between now and any time when this might have been taken remotely seriously, and again by the fact that the person we're talking about here is Vanilla Ice. Then in the second half, the plot gets so ridiculously labyrinthine with all the coincidences and allegations and hidden identities and witness protection program and stuff, that the whole thing just becomes a bizarre time capsule more than anything. A bizarre time capsule about Vanilla Ice. Once more, this is Scott from Cinema de Merde, where you'll find lots of other reviews and pictures and podcasts and essays and stuff to read and stuff like that, and you should go there now. It's CINEMADEMERDE.com. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Look for some other video casts, and we out.